Coming up on 21st Century, in Chile, preserving a language and way of life. And in Namibia, saving the black rhino.
Luchar por el idioma y por la cultura es una lucha hermosa porque es una lucha por nuestra condición humana de seres humanos sabios.
The Mapuche, Chile's largest indigenous group, determined to save their language and identity.
El número de lenguas en peligro de extinción es altísimo.
Perder el idioma implica perder el contenido del sentido, el sentir mapuche se pierde.
The Mapuche, not only Chile's largest indigenous group, but also known for their courage and skills as warriors. They are one of the only indigenous peoples in Latin America which during centuries withstood total domination by the Spanish conquistadors. Their downfall came later.
Es una canción antigua de 1928 que habla sobre el tema de la traición con la guerra con los chilenos. La idea es difundir el idioma mapuche y el canto mapuche con formas renovadas de música. Soy Elisa Loncón Antileo, soy mapuche, soy profesora de lengua y cultura mapuche y trabajo en la Universidad de Santiago y en la Universidad Católica de Santiago. Toma de la tradición, pero se renueva con los otros instrumentos. A través de la música es un lenguaje mucho más incluyente.
Elisa, in the footsteps of her ancestors, is fighting a present-day battle to preserve for posterity the language and culture of her people, the Mapuche, so that they and their heritage don't disappear forever.
La población mapuche de Chile alcanza más o menos a 1.500.000 habitantes. Eso equivale al 10% de la población chilena. Actualmente, como el 10% de los mapuches está hablando mapudungun, pero la mayoría son sobre 50 años. Es muy importante que el idioma se mantenga porque en el idioma está la visión de mundo, están los sueños de las personas en el idioma. Perder el idioma implica perder los conocimientos tradicionales antiguos, los saberes, la memoria, perder el contenido del sentido, el sentir mapuche se pierde.
La mayor parte de las lenguas indígenas del mundo están amenazadas. Y una muestra de ello es la situación latinoamericana, donde el número de lenguas en peligro de extinción es altísimo. Soy Luis Enrique López Hurtado, soy un sociolingüista. Desafortunadamente, las exigencias de la sobrevivencia hace que se priorice el territorio, la educación, pero la lengua se va perdiendo en el camino. La lengua no es solo un medio de comunicación. La lengua es el espejo del alma.
Elisa has traveled 700 kilometers south to her ancestral territory, where to this day the Mapuche are engaged in a bitter struggle to recover lands lost to both the Spanish and then the Chileans. Her focus now, though, is to support her people in the revival of the language and culture, both closely linked to their access to land.
Siempre cuando levanto los hijos, Ricardo.
Ni Chengoimán ni Chaguay. Chaguay tú le das, ¿no? Que aquí en esta comunidad que se llama Lefueluán debe haber como 3% de personas que hablan el idioma. Esta lengua fue una lengua poderosa hasta pasado de la conquista, y quien liquidó finalmente la lengua fue en el siglo XX con la escuela. Que por ejemplo hasta le lavaban la boca con jabón cuando hablaban en mapudungún, porque se asociaba ese idioma a lo impuro, a lo sucio, a lo que está endemoniado. Es el lugar de la ceremonia.
Elisa takes us to their ceremonial site. Until just a few years ago, a rubbish dump for local non-Mapuche people.
Que este es el lugar, es un niyatúe, es un lugar para la ceremonia. Históricamente fue el lugar donde se reunían los abuelos para hacer su ceremonia. Y al final, el año pasado, acordaron recuperar el lugar de la ceremonia. Entonces vinimos y instalamos esto que está al medio, se llama rewe. El rewe es un espacio de conexión de la tierra con el cielo.
And the next day, she gathers local Mapuche people at the site to learn how to perform one of their traditional ceremonies.
Vamos a iniciar como lo hacían nuestros antiguos.
Tenemos que entender que no hablamos bien mapudungún. A mí me gustaría hago harto empeño hablar mapudungún en mi casa.
Junto con la tierra tenemos que ir recuperando nuestra cultura, lo que perdimos, tanto para los niños. Mi hijo jamás había bailado choiken.
Que nosotros bailemos, que los chicos hoy día estén aprendiendo el choiquipurún, no es un conocimiento malo, es un conocimiento necesario. Ahí uno aprende como mapuche el vínculo con los pájaros. Los mapuche, gente de la tierra, estamos vinculados con todo lo que existe en la tierra. Luchar por el idioma y por la cultura es una lucha hermosa, porque es una lucha por nuestra condición humana de seres humanos sabios. Nunca yo he estado en una ceremonia mapuche que se haga en castellano, porque no hay manera de articular el castellano con una ceremonia de esta naturaleza. El conocimiento de las plantas medicinales lo mantienen las personas mayores que saben de mapudungún. Cuando
está recién operado, ¿no?
Oh, ya, esto ayuda mucho para las heridas. No tiene nombre castellano. Café mexica, solo nombre Yantén Mapuche. Estos conocimientos vienen de generaciones, y si yo digo peumo, y uno ya sabe lo que es el peumo, pero si se pierde la palabra peumo, ¿qué es el peumo? Aquí yo me siento más en casa, aquí yo soy completa, aquí yo soy como más fresca, más despierta, mucho más estimulada por el ambiente, por el viento, por la fruta, por todo eso me siento muy bien acá.
But for Elisa, life and the struggle for the Mapuche identity continues in Santiago and even further away.
Pero en Santiago, que trabajo, me siento muy bien haciendo clases de idioma, porque ahí vuelvo a hablar, vuelvo a reír, vuelvo a cantar, vuelvo a los saberes tradicionales, y eso es muy bonito. ¡Aloncurra! ¡Antechihuay! El objetivo del curso es difundir la lengua, difundir la cultura.
Yo creo que es súper importante como chilenos que sepamos mapudungún para poder mantener la lengua.
But these are courses at a private university, says Elisa. To really increase the number of speakers, all Mapuche children should have the right to study in school in their language, which is not currently the case.
Hay un programa de educación intercultural bilingüe financiado por el gobierno de Chile y ofrece una asignatura de lengua indígena como asignatura en los lugares donde hay una alta concentración de niños indígenas. Para que ello ocurra tiene que haber 20% de niños indígenas en una escuela.
In rural areas, this may be possible, but in the city, now home to some 70% of the indigenous population of Chile, it's rare.
Pero están dispersos en diferentes comunas y nunca en una sala se llega a un 20%.
Scattered across the sprawling city, the indigenous are also among the poorest and most marginalized in the country, and, says Elisa, frequently subject to discrimination.
El racismo es realmente fuerte dentro de la sociedad chilena, entonces los padres dejaron de hablar el idioma para que los hijos evitarle sufrimiento a los hijos producto del racismo.
Consequently, only some 4% of young Mapuche speak their language, a problem recognized by the government.
Es bajo porque partimos del reconocimiento de que tenemos una política pública que tiene que ser mejorada y fortalecida desde el punto de vista de la vitalización de la cultura, teniendo presente que el lenguaje es parte de la cultura. El país está cursando por un proceso constituyente para tener una nueva constitución, donde los pueblos indígenas tienen un proceso particular desde el punto de vista de sus derechos colectivos.
La Constitución de Chile, que ojalá cambie, es la Constitución del periodo de Pinochet. Entonces, mientras que la mayoría de constituciones del continente se reformaron, la Constitución chilena no ha cambiado todavía. Yo creo que hay que empoderar a la población indígena. Hay que empoderar fuertemente a la población indígena. Eso ya está ocurriendo, afortunadamente.
For decades, indigenous peoples have been organizing to make their voices heard globally. Here, Elisa speaks at the United Nations in New York.
En mi pueblo se dice que uno no anda por casualidad en la vida. Algo hace de que nos tengamos que juntar y son los espíritus ancestrales los que nos reúnen.
In 2007, the United Nations Declaration on Indigenous Rights was adopted, which includes the right to language.
Hay que verla por la lengua como elemento de un desarrollo distinto y por la lengua como un depositario de conocimientos que pueden ser útiles para salvar la humanidad de la crisis en la que estamos actualmente.
Estamos sembrando mucho, estamos enseñando, estamos haciendo muchas cosas y todo eso va a implicar un cambio de aquí a 50 años. Hoy día hay otras maneras de cómo se está fortaleciendo el idioma. Tengo mucho optimismo por el futuro del pueblo mapuche y por el futuro de nuestra lengua.
In the wild semi-desert of northern Namibia, a rare and elusive species.
Oops. We have to move backwards.
Solitary and sometimes aggressive, the black rhino is on the critically endangered list.
If they kill 1,600 per year, then that's the end of the rhinos in Namibia, actually.
The black rhino's twin threats, poaching and drought.
Namibia, Southwest Africa. Its landscapes, mostly uninhabited, haven't changed in millions of years. Hollywood movies have filmed these mountains to depict prehistoric life. Talking of prehistoric, there's an animal that traces back to those times still living in this area, but it's in danger. And in the semi-desert wilderness of northwest Namibia's Kunene region, it's not easy to track down.
That's where he was walking. That's the spoor. See, 3 toes.
Meet Simpson URI-KHOB. He's head of the Save the Rhino Trust.
I love my work. That's why I'm here all the time.
Simpson is a legend in rhino conservation. He started repairing cars for the Save the Rhino Trust before working his way up, becoming a tracker and studying conservation biology.
There's one young calf, he will run, bloody run off.
Today, though, we've missed what we're looking for, a black rhino, a species at serious risk of extinction. In this case, a young calf who ran off at the first inkling that humans were in his area. We keep trying.
There's quite a rhino activity here. You can see the spoor where they have been browsing on the trees and also on the shrubs. So, yeah, they're around. The wind is okay. We don't know what's going to happen on top there, but so far, as you can see, the wind is going this way and the animals are up here. So we have to go this direction.
Black rhinos have poor eyesight, but if they get the faintest whiff of you, and they're also very sensitive to noise, this is all you're likely to see. After the first day, we literally had 10 seconds of usable footage. But then, on the second day, finally...
I haven't seen the Rhinos yet, but I think this is a young cow called Tuta, because this is a territory she used to live here.
But then, 10-year-old Tuta seemed to hear something.
What happened was during the translocation. Ups, 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 ups. We have to move backwards. We have to move backwards.
Tuta begins to charge. We retreat in disorder, and Simpson, knowing what to do, throws a stone into Tuta's path. Simpson jokes with his fellow trackers.
Koi gogoro. Koi gogoro. I mean, for a rhino, if it's coming there, and if it's really coming, it's coming like on 45 kilometers an hour. So it's fast. You will never outgoing it.
You see, that's the thing about the black rhino. It's mostly a solitary beast. It's nervous and aggressive. Look at these incidents from national parks in southern Africa. Note the bloody wound in the backside of the rhino on the right. The 140 black rhino living in the Kunene region, an area larger than Portugal, are unique.
This is actually the last vast area, open area, free, where you found free roaming black rhinos on Earth.
Unlike in the national parks with their numerous tourists, black rhinos in Kunene are not fenced in. They're truly wild and very wary of human contact, although many have been dehorned to protect them against poaching. On the right is a bull called Don't Worry, with a cow, Mara. It's day 3. Simpson tells me he once had to stay up a tree for 2.5 hours after Don't Worry chased him there. Here he sprays to mark out his territory, sound effects courtesy of Simpson. Overall, there are fewer than 5,000 wild black rhinos in existence, all in Africa. They're officially classified as a critically endangered species. Black rhinos here are specially adapted for the semi-desert conditions. They can go for 3 or more days without water, and they eat plants where they can draw some moisture, such as the Euphorbia damarana, that are poisonous to most other animals.
Here's a cow, and you can see the scratch mark on the back. You see that scratch mark? Whitish. They are busy mating. It's the bull's hoofs. When he climbed up, it's him that's scratching on there like that.
Mating is obviously vital if the species is to survive. Black rhinos couple up for just a few days at a time.
And like 17, 18 months later, then the cow will have a calf.
But even if the calf is born, that's not the end of the story. There are still plenty of challenges.
We
really facing drought in this area for the past 4 years, I would say. This is the worst I have ever seen in my 25 years of working in this area, you know. Yeah. There should be water here. No even single sign of water here. Human threat is there, but now the drought is also another threat, you know. So we're facing two threats at once, and they're both hammering us, actually. Yeah.
In a severe drought like this, a cow may well not be able to produce enough milk, and the calf will starve to death. The second threat, the human threat, is poaching. So far, Namibia has not been as badly affected as neighbouring South Africa. Illegal hunting is driven by the huge demand for rhino horn in parts of Asia, where it's sold quite falsely as a cure for diseases like cancer. Rhino horn is literally worth more than gold in this market.
It started off in South Africa, and I mean the numbers just raised there until 1,600, I think, per year. If that happened in Namibia, if they kill 1,600 per year, then that's the end of the rhinos in Namibia, actually.
Recently, poachers have moved across Namibia and eventually found their way to Kunene. As well as surveillance from the air, Save the Rhino Trust trackers are out every week monitoring and photographing black rhino and entering them into a database. They also look out for suspicious vehicles and activities. 30 years ago, there were only 60 black rhinos in Kunene. With successful conservation efforts, that trebled. But now, in the last few years, that number has been dropping again because of drought and poaching. So what is the way forward?
I can guarantee you, if you don't have the support of the community on communal land in conservation, then you might as well forget. It's not working.
The most effective way to protect the black rhino is to bring in the local community. Bonds Roman has been locally recruited as a guide for tourists who come to Desert Rhino Camp at the heart of Kunene. The camp is run by Wilderness Safaris, who in turn collaborate with the Save the Rhino Trust. It's a win-win-win. A limited number of tourists bring in money, which finances the monitoring and protection of the black rhino, and also creates jobs for local people.
This community system or conservation system whereby you, the local, make a decision. You are involved with the things you live together. And that makes it actually a successful thing, you know, the ownership that you feel.
And so Simpson and his team can keep on tracking.
As you can see here, black rhinos tend to use the same dung pile as they go into the water or coming from the water. This is very fresh, new, still wet. There's quite a lot of fiber in it here. And then you found sticks, because they browse quite a lot on trees and shrubs.
It's day 4 and we're on the right path. Simpson has found fresh rhino dung. And now a surprise. Tuta, the cow seen on the right, who chased us off just 2 days ago, has been joined by 33-year-old Ben for mating. With Ben's protection, she's wary but not so nervous.
Our goal actually is to have as many as possible black rhinos roaming in Northwest Kunene region in the future. That's what we want.
As Ben and Tuta walk off into not the sunset but a valley in the soft midday light, the future of the black rhino, living free in the true wild, goes with them.